Hold up. Okay, cool. All right, I guess we record now, boss man. It's
Hey,
good to see you, brother. As usual.
oh,
Well, you
man.
got yeah. You this been a long waiting conversation. This is the as I like to call it, the Watch Superhero Track Dirt Show. It has a roving title. It goes all over the place sometimes. That's how I be feeling, right? All the different little crazy ideas I can have. And it's just been, one of those situations where I'm just trying to I guess connect with this new age that we're doing with I guess social
Yeah,
media, I guess you would say. But
yeah,
more so in and I guess our case, I just typically like us to have an opportunity to sit back and share some of the stories that we have personally. Most people know about our careers in which they probably either seen on videotape, uh, the statistics in which we've acquired over the years in our exploits, those sort of things, but they never really get an opportunity to kind of know what's in between the lines, between all the stories we've heard in news have been shared about us in news and on the news. It's so interesting, right? Because I was actually reading your Wikipedia. There's a couple things I did today that I hadn't done in a while, and it was the coolest thing because I learned so much just by kind of going back through the YouTube time machine, right? And the first thing I did was I kind of went through your Wikipedia to see. So I read through your Wikipedia, and it was holding my attention as I was saying, and I read the passages. But the cool thing about it, when I was reading through the passages of your Wikipedia, my own personal memories filled in the blanks, right? Of all the different timelines that were listed. And I thought it was so cool. Before I got you on this call here, was a simple fact that reading your Wikipedia, I'm going, wow, okay. Uh, it went like this, it went like that. So I'm gonna start off with this question for you. How did you first get involved in track and field?
oh
Was
man,
it was it through the Jets, or how was that? Were you running before
yeah,
then?
definitely with the Los Angeles Jets, right? So, I mean, I was the fastest kid on the playground, right? So I remember going
Uh-huh.
to Hyde Park Elementary School, right in South LA, right around Crenshaw, Florence area, right? And
Right there in the neighborhood. Over that
and
way.
Hyde Park was the school. I was in third grade, and I was just the fastest kid on the playground, right? I mean, I would beat fifth, sixth graders, right? And so there was this gentleman by the name of Ron Moore.
Ron
He was
Moore.
the founder of the Los Angeles Jets. And at that time, they were transitioning from the West Vernon Jets to Los Angeles Jets. And he asked if I wanted to join his club. And I'm like, okay, let me ask my mom first, right? And sure enough, she would definitely
Oh,
let
that's
me.
cool.
And we used to train at Crenshaw High School on the dirt track. So, yeah, my running exploits started with the Los Angeles Jets. Uh,
Okay, so where'd you end up at junior high school?
Man, I moved around a lot. So
Right.
I went to two different junior high schools. Um, Palms Midsite, which was in Culver City, and
I
then
don't. Yeah, I know Palms is. Yeah, that's how our stomping ground. When you start thinking about it.
yeah, yeah, we got stories about that area.
Oh
And then
yeah.
Sutter Junior High, and ironically, I went to Sutter. I think my ninth or eighth year I graduated. I think Quincy Watts went there the year after I left, so there's some little overlap. But
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
The
yeah. So
overlap.
Sutter, two junior high schools. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's cool. Okay, then you finish up at Sutter, and then you ended up at Banning from there.
yeah. So my home school was Crenshaw, but at that time
Hmm.
they started busing kids from the inner city out to these other areas, and so I went to Banning for about a year and a half.
Okay, so
And
that was like tenth grade, 10th, 11th.
10th, half 11, yep, yep.
And
And
okay. So
uh,
you was definitely entrenched in the Carson
all
Banning.
over, everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And then I moved up north. My middle of my junior year, my mother had a job up near Oakland and Fremont, and then I went to American High School, middle of my junior year and my
Okay,
senior year. Yeah.
that's cool. I got a quick question for you. So, were you still running track when you were at Banning, or you were doing other sports
Um,
before you went to Fremont? Because that transition.
yeah. So yeah, definitely track was my constant. I did go out for the football team at Banning. You know, had a hell of a squad back there with
Yeah, yeah,
Mel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Banning always had a damn good team. Damn,
Oh,
always had a damn good football team. They definitely got a history of that. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I went out, but that's around the time I was moving. So I didn't have a chance to really play there and went up to Northern California
Right,
and
because they do start
yeah. So
they
just the
start the
timing of it.
spring training super early.
Yeah,
It goes through the whole summer.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
they don't play.
I was fluid, so so track was always the constant. And yeah, I stuck with it, and would always come back and run with the L.A. Jets, Los
So
Angeles Jets.
oh, okay, so
Mhm.
you would come back in the summertime from when actually after your transition. But my question is
Yeah.
this now: you go from Banning, you go to American High School in Fremont, right?
Mhm.
Um, so but you're actually you're a are you a sophomore, junior, or junior senior?
So I compete. So sophomore year, I competed for Banning. You know, if track Olympic
Okay,
that year, and then my
the first
junior
the 10th
senior
grade year,
year,
right?
yeah, 10th year, and then
And 11 to 12.
Northern Cal up in
So
Fremont.
that's so basically after your 10th grade year at at
Yeah,
Banning,
yeah.
and you did run the 400 meters at Banning, or you
I
didn't?
Oh, I did. Oh, that was always a 400. Yeah.
Okay, so you did the 400. Were you ranked in the 400 while you were at Banning at any given time that you
No,
knew of? Or were you just out there
well,
having a good time with
I
your buddies?
literally just started kind of coming out then.
Yeah, actually.
I
Because
made
now
it.
I gotta the transition from, of course, from Banning
Yeah.
to American High School in Fremont,
Yep.
we're talking your you got your oh you got your 11th and 12th grade year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The 11th grade year. So I ran 11th grade year and yeah.
Okay, so were you okay, 11 okay, those 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
junior, senior.
Hmm.
Now, if by all means, so this is where you sparked in your stock raised a lot in 86 and 87 up at American High School. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because you were CIF, California Interscholastic
Yeah.
State Champion in the 400 meters, correct?
My junior year and senior year.
As I'm saying, your junior year and your senior. Now, can you imagine back to back state champion, 400 meter quarter miler?
Yep.
What sort of NIL deal you would
Huh.
try to contemplate coming out of high school or while in high school, your junior and senior year, and considering who you are and what you did coming out of high school, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if this was an investment being made, if there was an ideal probability
Mm.
back in 1985, 86, right?
Mhm.
Can you imagine what you could have capitalized on years later if you just kind of looked at that in retrospect?
I mean, and even fast forward, just being, even in my freshman year at UCLA, right? So, I was a gold medalist that freshman year, and so coming back, I mean, there was so much that, yeah, I can only
I mean, I
imagine.
can't even. You couldn't even. It's it's almost like an NIL. It would be an NIL fairy tale, bro.
Hmm. Hmm.
It would, or it would have been a situation where you had an opportunity to bet on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
When no one probably even, well, no one would have had a clue what
Yeah.
was about to happen.
Yeah.
Yet,
Yeah.
yet you said, I'm going to invest in myself and 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 have it and develop, that whole. And I mean, I would actually. This is so crazy because now I didn't even get considered this even for the conversation. Um, was Well, when I was in there having the conversation with myself, creating the questions. it dawned on me. I said, "Oh my God, has Steve had an NIL deal while a junior in high school?"
Oh, that'd have been,
And what he did, not even so we're literally saying, let's say an NIL deal from 1986, right,
yeah,
to
yeah,
1992, 93,
yeah.
right? Three Olympians, bro. I mean, what world championships? So we talking 88, 90, well, 88 and 92,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Three
yeah.
gold medals, a silver, multiple
Hmm.
world records,
Hmm.
world junior records.
Hmm.
Uh,
It stands, by the way, that 400 World Junior
yeah,
record.
yeah. Okay, so
For now,
that's great. So I will ask you this particular question. Um, in 1986 or seven, I'm not quite sure, but could you give me a particular you know, there was a bit of basically there was a bit of controversy. One of the years you won the 400-meter championship, state championships. Could you explain that to me? And what
whatever
year
the
was that?
yeah, no. So this is so my senior year was defending my state title, right?
Hmm.
And in the final, the state meet in Sacramento, and one of my competitors was from Hawthorne High School, Travis Hanna, great
Oh, T
competitor.
had the homie.
Hanna. Um, and the coach was Kai Courtney, rest in peace. Kai Courtney
Okay,
was
rest in peace, Courtney.
yeah, so the we're lined up in our blocks, set position, and then I take off before the gun, they say. And if you fall start at that time, you're out, right?
Right.
And let me tell you, the crowd just went crazy. I mean, it's kind of like an urban.
You the reigning champ.
Yeah, I mean, they were expecting me to do something crazy, right? So anyway, it just got so bad. They were yelling and throwing stuff out of
Right.
the truck. I mean, it
So
just
you the
got
fan
bad.
favorite, boy. Good.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you imagine that? When we just have
Oh,
the
it was
conversation about the
surreal. It was
NIL and
surreal.
the
I mean, they
fan
were
frenzy.
yelling,
So
let him run, right? And so, as I walking off the track, and again, it just got so out of control with the crowd. Um, the official walked up to me and let's just say he whispered something in my ear, right? I'm not gonna repeat what that, and then I was back in the race.
okay,
And
what year was this?
this is 87, senior year. Yeah,
Is this your
yeah.
story and you sticking to it? Did you
My
remember? Okay, you said you're gonna be anonymous on who the official was.
and then what he whispered in my ear. So anyway, I got back in the race, and
Oh
now
God!
at that point, the pressure's on. I'm like, oh shit, the crowd got me back
Now
in.
it's on.
So I went out like a bat out of hell. I mean, that first 200 was bananas. And I needless to say, I won the race, and I died a horrible because I just felt so obligated
Overwhelmed by emotion
to
and everything
take
else.
off.
Yeah.
Now the aftermath, Hawthorne was just in an uproar. I mean, Kai Courtney was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have been able to run." I mean, I get it's about points and everything like that, and he was protesting and what have you, but it stood. I was the state champion that year. But yeah, it was a lot of drama in Sacramento.
Wow. So that was the drama that we had back in '87 at the state championship. Of course,
Anybody there, they'll tell you
California has had its years of past years of
that
controversy at the
was
California State Championship meets dealing with gender issues. Am I right?
that part. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny because I remember what I've been reading about that recently, and I was thinking about the situation that you had in the state meet back in '87. I mean, I didn't recall the year, but I knew you were in high school. It was state meet, and that was
yeah.
like the biggest controversy
That
in,
was
I would say, state track and field history, or one of the biggest,
that time. Yeah, it
uh,
was
as
legendary.
opposed to the last year or two recently in California state track and field. Uh,
Yeah,
that's funny.
it
Okay,
was-
so question: while you were in high school, how many universities or colleges did you go on visitations with? Did you take any visitation to Southern California?
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. You were my host. So
Was I your host?
You were. So I took five. You're allowed 5 trips, I believe. I took. Let's see.
I guess I was the hostess with the mostest.
You were my
I
host.
don't
Yeah,
remember even being your host.
you were my host. Uh, but I got a story about that because 5 trips, right? Now, growing
Uh-huh.
up in Southern California, at that time, now it's different. Everybody wants to leave the state, but you wanted to go to 1 or 2 schools in California, either USC or UCLA. Me, I wanted to be a Bruin with UCLA, right? So that was my goal, particularly at that time because there was just so much talent there. I wanted to be a part of it with the
Hey,
youth.
half of it came from Hawthorne High School that you mentioned earlier. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was just so much, right? And so I really wanted to go to UCLA, and they weren't checking for me, right? So yeah, my recruiting trips, I went to Texas A&M. I think Derek Florence was my host. I went to LSU. Bernard Blair Williams was my host.
All my partners, boy,
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
especially
then
Blade.
yeah, Blade. Shout out to Blade. And then I went to Kansas. I went to USC, right? That's my fourth
Uh-huh.
one. One more visit, right? But UCLA was not checking for me, believe it or not. State champion 2 years in a row.
That's what I'm
And I guess
saying.
because they had a
Yo, yeah,
stable of quarter milers at the time, right? Danny Everett, Henry
Daddy was
Tubbs,
just there,
Mike
right?
Marsh, right? So they didn't want me, right? And then finally, Coach Bob Larson and John Smith flew up to Fremont, California, and met with my mother and I and offered me a scholarship. So I ended up taking a recruiting trip. You were my host, and yeah, I mean the rest is history. So yeah, UCLA was
Do
my
you
goal.
remember what you did on that recruiting trip? I don't
I do,
recall.
but I'm not going to repeat it on the. No, we went out partied and all. It was fun. Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta give me some dirt, man. I get
Well, it was just,
Alzheimer's
I mean,
with you,
no,
bro.
it was good. It was we just probably hung out, and I
It
remember at
was
the time I
wholesome.
was
It was
like,
wholesome, right?
yeah, oh yeah. It was legit.
Yeah, we didn't get deranged till later on when
No, that was
you got
later.
to
Yeah,
get we
recruiting
didn't
trip
get
was
crazy
just
till you.
that's too crazy. Yeah, but no, it was we just. I mean, you were just the coolest kid. Matter of fact, you had a hat on, kind of what you have on now. I remember
Oh,
that.
really? Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
was your style. That you sticking with it, right? And
Yeah, I'm sticking. Yo, this is the official K Young.
official like a referee whistle. And then I met
This
Hindu.
the official K Young UCLA.
Like that. I got to pull that. I got that in the closet. That one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
this the
matter of fact.
official.
Oh damn! Look at you. You got the. So yeah, that sweat top you have on, right? I remember, man. That's the suit we wore. We
Yo,
set
oh
mile
wait!
relay
I
with.
got a question for
Oh,
you.
go for it. Go for
This
it.
was the question. This is what it was. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. Right. I was looking at old film because we had even transitioned to the college. We've been talking high school.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
now we're talking. Your recruiting trip,
yeah.
and it was at track meet. It was the Pac-10 championships, bro, at UCLA, if I'm mistaken, and
Mhm.
we ran the B team. Well,
Mhm.
we didn't run the B team. We ran athletes who wouldn't. What was it? We ran athletes in the 4x4 who would normally be on the 4x4, right? And they
So
ran. And I went and I was on YouTube earlier today, and I was punching your name and trying to see what was gonna pop up. And that race popped up, bro. It was in the race open. There was a 4x4.
oh yeah,
It was D Knight.
Eric Knight,
I
Mike
fell out, right?
Wisnowski.
Because D my bro, right?
Yeah, yeah,
D Knight came out the hole, right? He running with Chip
yep.
Rish and
That's
all them
right.
dudes, right?
Yep, yep, yep. He did. He did.
I think he gives it to either
Mike
Pony or
Wisnowski.
Wisnowski.
Mike Wisnowski.
He
Yep.
gives it to Wisnowski. Wisnowski gets around there. He handles his handlers. Then I think he gives it to Pony, right?
Anthony Washington. Yep,
He
yep.
gives it to Pony. Pony do his thing, and uh, and then they give it to the freshman. Oh my god! Oh
Yeah,
my god! And
yeah, yeah.
I was so happy to see that. It blew my mind, boss man. It blew my mind, bro. Uh, and
You hadn't
and, and,
seen
and
that
not
race in a
that
while?
not that not
Yeah, that had you seen that
not
race in
not,
a
not that
while?
which one?
You hadn't seen that in a
That
while? That Maori, that was a
I hadn't seen it in a while, right? I hadn't seen it in a while, and I wasn't
yeah,
checking for it. So when I looked at it, I was expecting, honestly. I had typed in 400 meters UCLA
okay,
Pac-10, and it
yeah.
didn't have that. It did have it later, but it had that. because
Wow.
that's another story that we can go into.
Okay.
But and I'm grateful for that particular time back in 2017, being hanging out with you and Daddy.
Hmm.
Any case,
Okay.
I get the ball. Matter of fact, I got this when I was, I think, was it when I was in for Joe's birthday,
No, this is we were
or this was
me, you, Johnny Gray, Q. Um,
oh yeah. This is a couple
yeah,
years
you
ago,
came to
but
get that. That's it. Yeah.
no, no, know
Oh, I
why?
didn't give it to you until Joe's. I thought you. Oh,
Nah, yeah, know why? Because I had went to London
oh,
Heathrow Airport, bro. I got sweated so hard
oh, trying to
for
get
this
that.
damn because I had to bring it in as a carry on,
Oh, wow.
and I put it in my. I had a I got this free tag bag, right?
Yeah.
This vinyl tarp bag that they make from Freitag, right? It's a real nice bag. Any
Yeah.
case, I had forced the ball in the backpack basically, and I carried it on the plane. So when I got through, was going through security.
Okay.
Uh, I went through went through the check. The
Hmm.
ball went through the uh, went through the X-ray.
Yep. Yep.
They still flagged it. All right. They said, "What is it?" And then they basically, I bullshit you not, they basically just had me stand there for at least 30 minutes
Wow.
to see, with all the CCTV cameras, see if I'm going to bug out and freak out, like, oh my God. And
Okay.
they went from manager, shift changes. Uh, One manager said it was his job to do it at this particular machine. Then they sort of said it had a shift change, and I'm standing there. And then at first I was starting to get frustrated because I knew how much of it was just
Why
BS.
you just leave that ball there, man? Just throw it
And
and
then
forget.
and then I just started cracking up laughing, right? And so I just said, well, you know what? It could be a hell of a lot worse, right? So I just stood there and wait for the proper person came with the
Yeah.
right authority to look at it. And I told him it's a medicine ball. It's a weighted ball, fit for fitness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the oomph ball, I'm like giving it a commercial and all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Finally I get through. And good thing I'm there early enough in time so I can, fool around and have some time to myself. And
Yeah.
but it was cool. I finally got it back. So now
You got it through. Wow.
got it through. So brought to our makers of the oomph ball. All right.
Mhm. Move to the court.
I gotta start oomph to the core. I gotta start doing that. So
And that's
now we mentioned if you had the NIL opportunities back in 1985, 86, 87, that'll be interesting. We go through the UCLA time machine.
mm, mm,
So now you're a freshman at UCLA. You, as they always say, never the bride, but always the bridesmaid, because Danny was there and Danny was doing this thing. And
mm.
this is interesting because in 1980 87, this is crazy. Were you? No. The year before you got there, I just remembered this. We
Mhm.
had just won the NCAA championships, if I'm not mistaken, that year, 87. Because you went on that relay team in 87.
Oh, I was no, I
No,
wasn't
that's
on
right,
that.
because that was the year you came in that fall, but that summer at
Yeah.
LSU, it's funny, okay, that summer at LSU,
Hmm.
uh, we had just set the NCAA meet record then in 87. I think
Okay.
I'm not sure if SMU had the record. Someone had the record. Any case, it was now our record.
Right.
Uh, we did that in Baton Rouge. But I remember that was a year that in which Danny broke Edwin's streak in the hurdles that June. I never forget that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, the following year, you come in fall '87,
Hmm.
UCLA, spring track '88. We doing that. Everybody's getting, going through our conference championships. So what was your fondest memory as a freshman at UCLA? And it could be whether track related, just student related, or just being leaving Fremont, Fremont, California, and coming back down to LA because they like you're not familiar with LA. Coming back to LA on the west side now, further west side, and now you're a freshman at UCLA. Not only a freshman, two-time state champion. Our eyes are on you. What was
Yeah.
that like?
So it's we talked about it earlier. So it's funny because, when I left LA, that I guess my sophomore year, and mind you, I had a lot of success running age group
Mhm,
track with Los Angeles Jets, right? So from age 9, I mean, I was dominating my age group and all that, right? And then I got into high school my freshman year,
mhm.
made the state meet that year. I didn't make it to the finals my sophomore year, but that's fine. But then I moved. So everybody was wondering, where does Steve go, right? And all of a sudden I'm up in Northern California. And then, next time they
You can't.
saw me was the state meet that I won my junior year. And then I came back and won in
Hmm.
my senior year. And so fast forward after
The
that, I now
controversial
am
senior
back in
year.
Los Angeles at UCLA, right? So back kind of where it all started. So
Mhm.
I would say my fondest memory would be the Pac-10 championships because it was really my coming out party then again, and it was an opportunity to kind of
Ah.
showcase in front of my coaches were there from the Jets, James Robertson and Ron Moore. The folks that watched me when
Hmm.
I was age group, so they all saw me now. This is their next. I'm back in Los Angeles, so they see me at this Pac-10, Pac-12 now. Not even Pac-12, we're Big Ten, but Pac-10 at the time, and it was my coming out party, right? So even though Danny won that open 400 meters at the Pac-10, he dragged me around, but I ended up taking
Oh,
second.
you
But I
shocked
ran
the crowd. They let
4:35.
you shocked the
Yeah,
crowd. So that is that. I'm sitting back as I look back. We talk about youngsters talking now about the state of their mental health. What was your mindset stage? What were you? Kept you sane leading up through every moment through your matriculation.
that's a great question because I look at these youngsters now, particularly some of the younger ones, and there's so much talent out there. And you can have these wonderful races, but how do you be consistent, right? And I attribute my mental toughness really to
Hmm.
my teammates, you and Danny. And I mean, it's like I don't know if I mean I was tough mentally. It was I was always out there trying to do my best and all, but it's hard when you try to compete at that level. And so you need to be surrounded by people that support you. And so it was physical. We trained, we out there running those 600, 300, right? But it was a mental to
Hmm.
that. And I know when I started traveling to Europe, I mean, I first started with my UCLA teammates, and I got with Santa Monica Track Club. But I was surrounded by individuals that were just excelling at this level, right? And it just kind of rubbed off on me, right? So I would literally go into these races with the same kind of confidence of the people that I was around all the time, with you and Danny, right? So that helped. Without that, I don't know, how far I would have gotten. And that was huge. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. You need to have, people around you that really
I
understand.
totally I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, yeah. My teammates, really,
Hmm.
the
It
training part.
definitely it's so funny. It definitely made my journey. It made
Yeah.
my journey a lot easier. A
Hmm.
lot, a lot easier. Um, so back on the mental health piece, right? So because I'm sure you're making the transition from high school. Now you're going through. Now you have this whole social status that you have now that you've created, you generated on the college campus. Um, you're finding about yourself and others around you. Different circles of people or in different pockets on the campus. Uh,
Hmm.
the music is changing culturally, you would say, uh, and even as like I said, a young black male on that campus on the west side of L.A. Where were your grandparents staying at the time?
Right in South Central. I mean, they were on Victoria Avenue, right?
They were they
Crenshaw.
were they were still in L.A. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, they were in LA and they were a big
Oh,
part of
okay.
this.
So were you visiting them when you were your freshman year?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, and they would come to my meets, and yeah, definitely they're a big part of my life. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for
definitely.
sure.
I think about the meet for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would
Um,
visit.
what's your fondest memory of John Smith as your coach at UCLA? And you can have multiple memories. You can just or
I mean, I connected to him truly as like a father figure. I mean, he just kind of spoke to me, just his whole demeanor. I connected with him. Not to mention he was a quarter miler, and still holds the world record in 440 yards. So I
yeah,
just connected
yeah. It's so crazy.
on different levels. Emotionally, I mean, spiritual. I mean, we just vibed, right? And that connection is just kind of what allowed me
Yeah,
to grasp. I mean, it was just John was just, he was just kind of one.
I got a similar tie into that for
Yeah.
the simple fact that I recently interviewed John and I
Okay.
hadn't put it out there yet, but we were discussing it. I said, and one of the questions I had asked John, I said, you know, you were like 40 days out from being 21 years old. You weren't even 21 years old. You're 20. I mean, he was like 19 to 20 years old, right? So on June 26th of 1971,
Mhm,
John sets the world record in the 440 yards.
mhm,
He's like 40 days shy of his 21st birthday,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And so now, the following year, 1972, uh, matter of fact, the following year in 1972, he's not even 21 years old, right?
yeah.
He's born in
Yeah.
1950. So he's
Yeah.
not even 21 years old. But mind you, a year prior to him going to the Olympic Games, having the opportunity to go to Olympic Games, he's already the world record holder in the 440.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine that, right? So
Yeah.
this is the conversation I was having, and I said, now you go to the Olympic Games and you pull a hamstring. You're not able, you strain your leg after you got the trials, but you're not able to run and fulfill your Olympic dream of getting a
Mhm,
medal.
mhm,
Fast forward, 1988.
mhm,
Now you're a coach, a collegiate coach, and you taking a job that you really didn't want to take at all,
mhm.
and then you have these group of young men coming to on campus, and you develop as a coach. I said, now you have to, I told him this. I said, now as a person who did not have that accomplishment personally in the Olympic Games, now as an Olympic coach, you have the gold medalist in the 1988 Olympic Games, a college
Mhm.
freshman, a kid that you literally took the plane up to the Bay Area, sit on their couch and talk with him and chop it up with him and his mom
Mhm,
about the possibility what your child can have going to UCLA.
mhm,
And when I look at it like that, and now you kind of bring the book into it, uh,
mhm.
and I'm looking at you, and I've seen, my perspective
Yeah.
of the process, and I'm going, wow. I mean, it's a story, but obviously within a story that I
Mhm,
personally witnessed my perspective of it. And like I said, you have your whole side of it, how you connected with it, and I thought I said, what is that about the perseverance of individuals that, if, like I said, John grew up right there, South Central. I grew up, of course, with Watts. Um, we've all been all over the city because I was just, it's so crazy because living in LA, you really live
mhm.
around and throughout LA. I didn't live in Linwood. I lived in different sections of
Yeah.
Compton. I done lived in
Younger.
different sections off of Figueroa. I done lived in Inglewood, a couple of different places. I done, like you were saying, I've been in I've been in different neighborhoods growing up as a child, at relatives' houses who lived in certain areas that I visited as a youngster. So growing up in LA, you just like it's really like a mosaic. It's so many
Mhm.
different pieces and places that you end up being a part of when you look at the tapestry of it. I guess you could always say, but it was definitely John was definitely, I guess you can say, the quarter miler whisperer. you
Yeah.
know, and not that they didn't recruit great talent, but getting the talent there is one thing, and developing the talent and keeping it along for the ride, and letting them know that this is what it is. Um,
Mhm.
it's amazing because a lot of folks fail to realize the era in which we actually came up in the sport. You know, there's a lot of different twists and turns that when you come to think about the commercialism of track and field and athletics, and how we as athletes, where we stand in the game of it. You know, it becomes a whole different level of conversation that we can chat upon. Okay, so we were talking about your stages of mental health. How did your life change after? Well, two things. In August in Zurich, I think August 17th on a Thursday, that race in Veld class in 1988, where Butch ran the 43:29. What place did you take in that race?
Third,
You were third there. Who was second in the race?
Mr. Everett, Danny.
Oh, so Danny was second. Oh, see, there we go again. The whole bridesmaid between him and between Danny and Butch.
Mhm,
You, you arguably were the third best quarter miler in the U.S.
mhm,
as a
mhm,
freshman at that point. At that point in time,
mhm,
to the point or level in which you were in the race when you had recently no there was a new world record set two, 2 months before you even making 2 months before you even went to the Olympic Games in Seoul. So
mhm.
talk about a uphill a
Yeah,
uphill climb that you had been on, or I could say it was more like a quest, because it seems
mhm.
like you were actually, you know,
Yeah,
you were doing the climbing,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
strategically
Mhm,
picking your
mhm,
moment,
mhm.
being more or less being calculated. It was, I mean, that's all I saw when I was in. That's all I saw. That's exactly what I saw. I pictured,
Mhm.
and the result was, of course, what was that? What was the trials like? First and foremost, the old Olympic trials in the U.S. Because Butch won that, right? Was it
He-
Butch, Danny, and you at the trials as
mhm,
well?
mhm,
Okay, so
mhm.
you bridesmaids again, um, but you guys had some of the fastest qualifiers in Seoul, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah,
You know,
you mean the
in the
the
semi
the semis in Korea?
in Korea, right before the final.
Yeah, yeah, they were. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you remember any of your times in the semis that you read? Did you read?
I mean, it was just so easy for me. I mean,
I
it was
mean,
like,
because if I'm not, you had the Cuban in there. Yeah, I mean, it was well. I guess it was easy for you.
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
innocent,
I know
Clark.
you running against.
You know, but Kev, at that time, it was like going into so back up because you mentioned that whole world record thing with Butch and
Mm-hmm.
um, it's a hell of a thing to have somebody break a world record on you, right? And I'm sure your competitors felt that when you broke a record, right? I mean, it's
Yo,
that's big,
but
right?
I was it's another thing when you were a spectator watching the race as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
And it was heated. It was a
yeah.
hot race, and
Yeah, you
and
get
and
shook, right? I mean, you get shook. So you set world record, right? So you get shook. And it does something in you. It makes you okay. I need to go back to the drawing board, right? It's just and now it's a
mm,
beautiful thing to be a part of
you
that.
did you replay that race in at Bell
Yes,
class that the Bush set the
yeah,
record on and picked it
absolutely.
apart? What did you see in Butch's world record race in which you were a participant that you did do or did not do, that you went back and you recalibrated? And could you explain and tell me what that was?
So good question. So even leading up before that race, it was I always had the mindset of, and you know it. I mean, I would not be afraid to take it out hard, right?
Yeah,
I had to at some point
establish.
exactly, and and so then going back to the Pac-10 championships, even at the trials, my goal going into Olympic Games, like I just leading up to that, I just have to keep running my race and get out, get out, get out, and then eventually I'm gonna be comfortable with that pace and going out like that, right? And so same with the trials. I mean, I ran 44:11, and I mean I broke the world junior record a couple more times at the Olympic trials that year. And
That's
going
what I'm
in,
saying. I said that earlier. I said,
but
dude,
I had my plan, right? So it's kind of like,
that
staying
is
your
so
lane,
crazy to me.
right? And so in Zurich, right? I went in that race. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, right? And I went out, right? And I had another silly rabbit on the outside, and it said, "Hey, Beniki,
And
he was
Beniki, my
another
man, I
rabbit,
just spoke with
my
this
man."
recently.
So we go out in Zurich, right? This is my plan, right? I said I got to stick to my plan because the long game is the Olympics, right? And I have to be able to do this and maintain, right? So anyway, Butch had his plan, right? And Butch
And
ran a
Butch had
hell of
his
a run.
plan. Butch running very
He went
successful the
out
whole
and
season.
he kind of came at the end, but I went out harder. But it's just, his race, it just developed to where he did what he did.
Uh-huh.
Or to the Olympic, the rounds in the Olympics at Korea, I was feeling great. I mean, obviously after Zurich, we go back to the drawing board with John at UCLA, and
All
we
right, so
train.
now question, boss man. Zurich was in August. When was the Olympic race? What day was that on?
Like
Do you remember?
September 20th, it was like a month later.
September
A month
20th.
later. Yeah, so it
20.
was like late September.
Do you remember the actual date? The
Is it
20th?
September 28th? I can't remember. Is it 28th, the final? I can't
It,
remember.
it
But
could have been.
it was late September, the Olympic.
It was definitely late September because I had my birthday a week before, a week or so before on the 16th. So I
So
remember having
yeah,
my birthday before we got there, or we were,
yeah.
yeah, because we were traveling. We were traveling when I had my birthday. I think we were like in Chiba somewhere. Any case, you're right. So the Olympic Games was in September, late September.
Yeah. So after that Zurich race, we go back and kind of, work on some other things with the race. And then, I get through the rounds in Korea at 88, and I felt a certain way, right? I felt
Uh-huh.
like it was clicking. And then so I get into this final. I had the perfect lane, and I had Butch where he needed to be in the inside of me in two, right? And
Mhm.
so I just stuck to my plan and did what I kept doing, what I prepared to do. And I got out, and I don't think Butch didn't realize where I was coming off that. And I came off that curve, and it was just, I was out, and then it was kind of done. It was, you can't play catch up, but
Oh man, gingerbread man, yo. As they say,
it was,
that like the
I ran my
rhyme
race.
went.
I had a plan, and I ran it, and
Catch me if you can.
that
Yo,
day,
man,
yeah,
that
it's just, yeah, it was a beautiful thing. It was, I mean, it was
it
a
was a
perfect.
beautiful day, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
everybody has their own. Obviously, we have our own personal experiences.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's the life we live, our experiences.
yeah, yeah,
And and like I said, you being my homeboy,
yeah. We.
Danny being my homeboy, right? It's like I've watched the whole. I watched all the shit on the track. I watched all the antics off the track. I was part of all the.
All that, a
I
lot
was
of,
part of all the bullshit. I was part of it.
absolutely,
I was there,
a
right?
lot of that, a lot of
And
that.
so so I look at if you look at Danny, you and me, and just say even and Mike Marsh, and I don't know, was that the blueprint? Was that the collegiate blueprint for track and field on the West Coast at that period of time?
Oh, for
I
sure,
mean,
yeah,
because notwithstanding,
yeah,
you know, or because I would say even because even Hindu was on that same blueprint, but unforeseen circumstances derailed us with injuries and all
yeah,
type of shit
yeah.
that happens to us that we actually even had to deal with ourselves. But is that the typical collegiate? Well, it's not the typical.
You
And I'm just saying that because
you know what else I'll say?
if you look at it, you got to ask yourself how many high school state and it is and like we live in the days of analytics now, numbers. If you take a time frame, how many high school state champions? You only need one high school state championship, right? You don't need multiple, but you got more than one. How many high school state champions ultimately became either world junior champion or to being an Olympic champion? out of the state of California. Or out of their particular state where they're from. You have to be a state champion, and you have to be a high school state champion. You have to either be a world champion or world or Olympic champion. We're gonna say specifically an Olympic champion, state champion, Olympic champion. Crazy. I can only think of yourself, Sydney Lavaroni. Um, I can only do that. Maybe I'm not sure if Juro was a state champion. I got to kind of go back and I'm talking
Yeah,
individual event, not a.
yeah, yeah.
But if we
That's
could, but I could say a relay if you ran relays, but an individual. But any case, so now,
maybe Gail Devers.
Gail, yeah. But was Gail on the '88 team? Yeah, was she
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gail made
in
the
the
88.
hurdles, right?
I think Gail made the team in '88, I believe. I think that she made the team. But she's
Uh,
state
okay,
champion
that's
and
Indianapolis. Okay.
I think she did progress the same. Jonah Hayes. I mean, a lot of,
Yo,
I
yo, yo, yo,
was,
yeah. We could go down. We could go down
yeah,
there.
but I think what was different about us and our group, unique, we were all, so I say Danny, yourself, Mike Marsh, Henry Thomas, and me, we're all from the same area, like inner city at that same time. We all were recruited to UCLA, and we all went to UCLA, and we all kind of, so there was a connection there. I mean, it was a connection,
Oh, definitely. It definitely
that
the
was different.
the CIF connection.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt that, and it was you're right. It was definitely a South Central LA connection as
Sure.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I hung out with I hung out with Hindu a lot more after
Mhm.
more so after college or my later years in college because after I had graduated, I was still being on campus when we were all training together.
Yeah.
I had already graduated from the university. All right, now
Yeah.
we're on my second commercial break.
Yeah.
Now this is a gin, and I figured since Shannon is doing his cognac, and I got typically when I go places to visit, I try to get a particular beverage from that company. Especially I'm traveling through duty free. So
Yeah.
since I'm always drinking gin, I typically buy a bottle of gin if I go to a particular country. So a few years ago, when I went to Liechtenstein, I never been to Liechtenstein. Reading about it in books and all that.
Yeah.
Of course being here in Switzerland, Liechtenstein is the next one of the next countries. Which is literally less than a 45-minute drive from here, right? So it's like driving to the valley.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
ain't never been there. So uh, one day, wife and I, we went out to Liechtenstein. And I remember when I was there at the little tourist area, they had a local gin that was being distilled in the area by some local guys. Is it called not 32 Peaks? It's called 32 Peaks, and there's 32 peaks, I guess, between Switzerland and Liechtenstein in the Alps. So I
Yeah.
guess they form a sort of continental wall or something. In any case, 32 peaks. So
Yeah.
that's their story. These 32 peaks in Liechtenstein and the botanicals that said it. But a good friend of mine who's a artist, he did a promo for them, and so he did a big graffiti on. His name is Oibel, and he's
Okay.
known for the Oibot. So before I crack this open, the Twin Peaks,
Yeah.
the Twin Peaks, I'm gonna put his graffiti stickers
Okay.
on there. That's the Oibot.
There
When I
you go.
first came to Zurich, I went to the skate park and I saw this on one of the walls at the skate park, and it blew my mind. So I said, "Oh, that's cool." And I found out the brother does artwork all over the city, and I want him to do a.
Okay. Okay.
We're gonna do a collab together. I
Okay.
already told him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he did this. This is one of I got a whole handful of his stickers, right?
Okay.
So, any case, I'm about to crack the sofa. I'm gonna pour me some of this since
Well, so yeah, you could do it. It's evening where you are. It's more.
yeah. This happy hour.
Yeah,
This is it's a happy hour, right? So I could take a little swig.
yeah, it's
I could take a
morning
little swig with the boss man. So,
here.
you know, like old times. I got stories. Come on now. You ain't.
Look at you.
I'm trying to get you.
Man.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
get you. I'm trying to. Okay, since you don't want to. You don't want to crack
Hey,
no
I'll
stories.
toast you though, man. I can toast you with my water, man. A little toast there. There you go. Give me a
There
toast.
you go, for
You
sure.
know,
That's another question, boss. That's another lead in
mhm,
of another episode of of what we're talking, we're discussing.
yeah.
Um, One is I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get back to that. So you go on, you do your thing, Olympic Games. Okay, I don't want to kind of compress everything because you come back in '92,
Mm,
make your second Olympic team. This time you win the silver behind our homeboy Q man, right?
mhm,
Um, but in between that space and time from the '88 victory, after '88, the following year, 1989, how was that for a season for you? Because that was when we really didn't necessarily have these world championships every 2 years. You were still on that 80 that 4 year quadrennial cycle of championship meetings. On that same Olympic format with '87. So of course that didn't change until what after '88. So we had 89, 90, 91. So the next international championships would have been with the Worlds and
I think it
in
would have been
Tokyo.
91.
I mean, we had like the Olympic Fest stuff. Did you ever run
Yeah,
the Olympic Fest at the
Goodwill
time?
games. Yeah, Goodwill games every now and then.
Okay, so Goodwill Games, the first one we had was '86, right? That was my coming out party, I guess you would say. Uh,
Mhm.
it, Me running internationally, right? Getting my toes wet. '86. So '87, you're now on campus at UCLA with me. We had Pan Am Games.
Mm.
Pan Am Games in Indianapolis '87. I had just won the national championships in Baton Rouge, but Winter came back and beat me at the Pan Am Games in '87. If I'm not mistaken. They had them in Indianapolis. I think I got the silver though. My block slipped. I fell on my damn
Ah,
knees, bro. I was
that,
pissed. They didn't call the race back or nothing.
that mess you up. Yeah.
Messed me up, man. And then we went off to Europe. Uh yeah. So you got the European stories, bro. Names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Names have been changed.
a lot of crime scene tape back in the day.
Ah,
Back
yeah,
back
yeah,
back in the '80s, right? It's a lot of
yeah.
bodies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's different time. That's funny. Funny.
A lot of chalk outline chalk. A lot of detective stories, I could just say. A
Yeah.
lot of detective stories. How did your life change after becoming an Olympic gold medalist in 1988, man? Beating the world record holder Harry Butch Reynolds, man, who was amazing quarter miler, one of my favorites. Uh, but how did your life change uh, in 1980 after 1988 when you came back home from Seoul? What was different? Give me a moment. Give me a memory. Tell me something.
Well, I mean, I'm still a teenager at that point, right? So,
How old were you? 19?
yeah, yeah, I just turned 19. So I was, man, back to Westwood, UCLA. So you can imagine coming back to LA, Olympic champion, and it
Did
was a
you did
beautiful.
you did you get the? Were you still in the dorms?
I had to move out. It got crazy. So it
Wait, wait,
just
wait,
it
wait, wait, wait. But okay, wait. In 1987, your freshman year, you came in for '87,
fall of
freshman
'87.
year.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you're coming back to school? Wait,
Yeah, I
wait.
had to come
When does
back to school
wait, wait, wait,
after
wait.
'88.
When did
Yeah.
school start? The school started August of
It,
'88.
it already started. I mean, I was because yeah, it already started because
So
we
school had already started your sophomore year.
correct. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Fresh into your sophomore year.
First into my sophomore year.
Just finished your freshman season of track and field, literally. Now you hadn't
Correct.
even finished. Well, you just finished because your season ended up being the Olympic. Well, was there any
Yeah.
races after the Olympic finals that you ran in?
We remember we went to Tokyo and had one little race. went to Tokyo after Korea. It
Excuse
was
me.
kind of we just, I don't know, little
Little
payday.
exhibition was that okay?
And then we went to the Freddie Jackson concert. Remember that? We went to
I
the Freddie
definitely remember. Was
Jackson
that was in
in
'88?
Japan. That was after the Korea Games. And then
Okay, that
after that
was okay.
concert in Japan, we went
I had a
back.
great time in Japan.
It was
That was at the
outstanding.
Takanaka. Was that the, no? We had Japan a few times. Not Takanaka Prince. That wasn't '88, huh?
We
Ah,
were partying with Prince Albert of Monaco at
we
that
were hanging
camp.
out with Prince, and Freddie was there singing
Jackson
at the concert.
backstage and whole,
I
yeah,
had
it
me
was
some $40 pancakes. That was the bomb. I remember that. I'm never gonna forget that. They got that recipe on IG now,
no.
on TikTok. The fluffy pancake tastes like lemons. Oh my God.
Pancakes I've had, yeah, I think, yeah, the lemon
Oh
pancakes.
man. So how did your life change when you got so when you
Oh
got
yeah, I mean, so
wait. So
I
when
was
when school started, were you in the dorms? That's my question.
right. They were, yeah, I had a dorm at the time,
Okay,
and
where were you? What dorm were you living in? Which you were
Reaper,
living in Reber Hall. Okay, what floor?
man, I don't even. It was, yeah, I don't remember. I was, yeah,
Bossman on the fourth floor.
but yeah, I mean, I can only stay there. So it was that first quarter,
Uh,
and it just got so.
it
I
got
mean,
so nasty for you. Tell the
well,
truth.
no, it was just that people would all, oh, that's where he stays, Olympic gold
Yeah,
medalist.
yeah,
So
business. Yeah,
always,
people.
knocks on the door, ring, just it was just it got so
It got
just
busy.
busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it got
So
hectic.
it got hectic. And so here's the thing. You remember that's when I had to move out to
Vince,
Palms. Around
you
the
had to
corner
go to
from
Palms. You
you.
had to go to. You wasn't on Jasmine, were you?
Jasmine. Yeah. I moved to Jasmine,
You over
right?
there, you
Over
over there
another
on
street.
killer Jasmine. Oh, that's another story.
Around
See,
the Snoop thing. Anyway,
see, that's
so when
that's
I moved
another story.
there,
See, I'm telling you. All
yeah,
right, so that's what
yeah.
that's what I'm leading into. I'm leading
Yeah.
into that. I'm leading
And
into that. Right. See, I know, like I said, I can read the wiki. I can read
yeah,
the
yeah,
Wikipedia.
in
But
between the
see,
lines, some other stuff.
with this, I'm dwelling into the cracks of the
You got that
Wikipedia.
drink at the right time, I see.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so here's the thing. So I'm staying in Palms, right, of Jasmine. You staying around a couple of blocks away,
I'm on Keystone.
Keystone, and so Keystone Copper. So remember, um, you know, we're at practice, right? And I come home from practice, and somebody had broken down my front door in my apartment. And at that time, I had my Olympic medals in there, right? It was in my nightstand next to my place in my bedroom. And I'm running in, panicking, right? Somebody but stole the stereos and all that out. So they didn't take my medals. And they basically took the medals out of the nightstand. I had two gold medals at the time. And so I'm running into the room, and they left the medals out sitting in the case facing me as I ran into the bedroom, right? So they took everything else in the apartment, like stereos and my Glock, but they
Wow.
didn't take the
I
gold
remember.
medals, right?
They
And
took your
so my
pistol. They took your pistol, and they
no,
but
they were sitting next, they took my Olympic ring that was in the drawer. They left the medals. And I'm
wow.
like, damn. And so I took the medals and I actually hit them in another place, and then boom, they broke into the place again. Like a few days later, I'm like, shit.
They
So
preying on us.
they're preying on me. But a week later, same cat that they thought somebody saw that broke into my place, they said they were trying to break into your place.
I
Remember that?
remember that because that's when that's what
Remember
okay.
that? Remember that? Like the same
Exactly.
time, right? And so, so somebody basically knew our schedules and they were plotting against us, right?
Right.
And I remember, and and we still young and it wasn't thinking, right? And so I remember I went, and we were looking for these guys. And I remember I called my boy, just one of my boys.
Uh,
We went hunting, right? And we were posted up outside your place, man, in different cars and kind of locked and then we were young, locked and loaded, ready, but no one ever showed up. But I just remember that time because it was like they literally broken my place
yo, yeah, that's crazy.
and
I remember that time.
plotted on yours, like because they say it was like around your place.
I pulled up, and the dude literally, I pulled up on the dude breaking into my house. He
Yeah,
was going into
yeah,
the door,
yeah,
and I had pulled up, and I pulled up in like an illegal parking spot because the manager always told me don't park here. Your parking spot is in the back through the alleyway, right?
yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah,
come on the street from Keystone, you pull up,
yeah,
you
yeah,
just pull up in front of the building. get out
Yeah,
the
yeah.
car, run upstairs. I remember I pulled up, like you were saying, and I pulled up right when the dude had just went to the top of the stairway and was right in front of the door. And I saw him jabbing, trying to pop the lock off the door. And he saw me and he broke out. And then I think I reached out to you guys and all that shit was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was
Did you
hey,
know a week about after that? That's and I went and got a I think I went and got a pistol that day.
yeah, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
I had
I
it
went
was
back to
it was we were on a little,
yeah, it was wild. It was wild
fortunately
there in
nothing
there
crazy
because I
because that would have
know.
been stupid, but we had to just you just young, you like just retaliate.
But then again, then the young dude who got murdered in the park, literally across the street from your house. But at the same
Yeah,
time, that was around that same time.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that right there in front of your apartment building,
Yeah,
that little park.
yeah,
But the crazy
yeah.
piece is this is how crazy LA is, man. After all that stuff was happening, I went back. I went over to D Knight house because you know me and D Knight we thick as thieves.
Yeah, yeah.
He over there on 111th Street with our big partner, Big Garland.
Hmm.
And I don't know what happened in the neighborhood, but I know I bought me a pistol. I bought me a 380.
I got that.
I
Yeah.
bought me a 380 from Big G, right? And Big G, I would always be with him sometimes on weekends hanging out in front of, D9 Mom and them house. And Big G, he was with WC in the Mass Circle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we was hang out big time, all the
Hmm.
time. When he wasn't busy on the road with Cube and all them dudes. But yeah,
Hmm.
rest in peace, Big Garland,
Hmm.
111.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ah man,
Crazy.
those are the times, boy. LA was wild, man. LA was wild. See, people don't. Well, I keep saying going back to people don't realize. We realize, and now we see. We got the games coming back.
Yeah,
Is it still recording? I'm not even sure this thing is still recording, but it might still be.
that's still
I got the Zoom Pro. I realized
good.
I needed to keep it going sometimes. I get to run in my mouth, especially when I get to talking to my friend here.
Yeah, yeah, get what you're saying.
It's
It's
Twin
all.
Peaks is no, it's 32 Peaks, that's what's called. But so your life change, you have to move out.
Mhm.
Uh I got so many questions for you, boss man. Uh one of the questions, and I'm not sure if this is too personal or not, but how old were you when you became a father?
25. So
You
my
20, okay.
yeah, yeah, 25.
That's
Mhm.
young. Yeah, that's pretty young. But now you ain't young as a lot of folks.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, man. Because I know your daughter. She went to UCLA. She was a Bruin like us. How did you feel when she became a Bruin, man?
great, man. Yeah,
Did she always want to be a Bruin when she was growing up?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
You think
yeah.
so?
Glad
Yeah,
she,
because she could have wanted to be something else.
yeah. So it was a blessing. She was, yeah, got through that, and no, it was cool. It was cool. It was
What is
cool.
she doing these days?
Working. She's
She's working.
working. She's good. Yeah, she's doing well.
That's cool. That's cool. How's Tam doing?
Good, good, good. And then our little one, she's good. Yeah, I got two
And then I
girls.
about to say the little one. Yeah. What's her name?
My little one, she goes to a little film school here, and
She's a star.
a little film school. But anyway, Spike Lee just spoke at her school 2 days ago.
Now she gonna be a director.
Well, we don't know what she'll get into. Hopefully, but
Well,
yeah,
you see what D Knight daughter out there doing, right?
yeah, I heard she's kind of doing big things.
Yeah, she's singing at the Crypto Center. I think it's still called the Crypto Center. Doing that halftime, did a halftime show. She's on somebody's Grammy award winning or Grammy nominated album.
Okay,
And I
okay.
just, I keep my eye on Kalei all the time. And I get the, when I get, especially when I get a chance to when I come to LA, see you guys. If I get a chance to see you, I often try to go catch up with D Knight. He usually want to pick me up from the airport.
Yeah.
Or take me to get the Reynolds something. Take me to get something to eat. Your transition from 1980. Okay, what happened between the '88 Olympics and the '92 Olympics? Uh, did you make the World Championship team in '91
So
Tokyo?
yeah, so sports in general. I mean, you got your highs and your lows, right? And so
Yeah,
after,
exactly.
I got injured in 89 and 90, I got sick. I
What
was
type
sick,
of injury did you have in '89, right? And then explain the illness that you got following that.
just nagging hamstrings. I mean, we're training at this high level, right? And fortunately for me, I was
Hmm.
all on point during the Olympics, but you know, the way that we train, I train. I mean, you're always pushing. It's a fine line between a tear
Yeah.
and, what I'm saying. I mean, your muscle fibers are always being targeted and tested. But yeah, it was always hamstrings for me, right?
Hmm.
And it's just a fine line. I mean, you just try to stay
Yeah, and the
healthy.
way you run, bro, it ain't like you had a off switch.
Yeah,
Once you got started, you was in new motion, baby.
yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, in the '90, I got sick. I was sick for a year. I mean, some kind of unknown little virus illness. I was weak. I mean, I just literally was a shell of myself. And so I just, I mean, I was going to class. I was, weak. I ended up moving back in with my grandparents that
Hmm.
year.
Where year was
You know,
that? 90?
90, yeah. And,
Wow.
and I didn't think I was going to be able to run again just because the way I was feeling. I mean, I'll come out to the
Hmm.
track, just see you guys, but it was a tough time. And so I felt, wow, 88 would, one hit wonder, but fortunately, I mean, I just never gave up, and I just
Hmm.
had to now try to get enough strength to get back to some form, right?
Right.
And and then in 90, sick, and then it was just so frustrating for me in the 91. Remember, I ended up leaving John to go train with Joe Douglas at with in Santa Monica. That
Hmm.
was
That was in 91?
91. That I moved from
Okay.
John to Joe. Um, Injured again. So it took a while after that to try to get myself back up. And then, as luck and timing would have it,
Hmm.
I got to a point to where I can make another team in 92 and then, two more medals. But yeah, that was a serious period from after 88, 90,
Okay,
91.
so what was your mental health stage
It was not good. I mean,
then? Now give I need you just don't give me I don't want you telling me it
yeah, I
was
mean,
not good. I need you to give me the life lesson that you learned from being in that situation. What got you out of that from under that cloud, brother? Was it family? Was it because basically I want to know, what was the defining moment? What was it on this journey? What was it? Was it someone? Was it you relating to something within you? What was it?
I mean, that was definitely the hardest part in my life. Just that year of the sick, because it was just so unknown, and
Hmm.
just or I'm the epitome of like just I mean the athlete, right?
I
I mean,
mean,
I'm
were you going to the hospital getting tests done on you and all that sort of stuff?
source of
And get
doctors to figure out what was going on with me, and that was
how
just
many
hard.
how many how many how many visitations you think you made over that period of time to going to the doctor getting tested?
So, I saw at least 10 or so doctors, specialists, just trying to figure over that period, just trying to figure out. Then they were like, "Is it in your head?" No, my body's changing. I'm physically I'm losing weight. It was just really depressing and hard mentally. And I'm still trying to go to take classes. I'm still in school, right? So I have
Yeah,
to
exactly.
have
You
to
got relationships with people that you working with.
and I'm
You on
still trying.
scholarship? Yeah, you still on scholarship? Or
No,
you or you went pro already? And
no, I'm not because I did 88, 89, 90. I actually, but they still gave my
yeah,
school
finish up. But yeah, they're paying registration fees that you can.
because I had two national titles with them and Olympic, so that was
Exactly. Come on now.
listen. But
Any so what what was the time when you saw the sun rising and you was like, wait a minute, I'm figuring it out. I didn't
the sickness or
through
the
through the sickness when you're able to get on the track. What was that moment that you realize you can get on the track and you can bounce around the track, you can open
crazy,
up.
when I was going through it. I mean, I would always just feel weak and chills. But I would just go. I would kept going to showing up at the track. I would show up, and then it was months, and but as suddenly as I was hit with that, all of a sudden I just started feeling better, and that it was literally 9 or 10 months into it, and then I'm trying to get myself ready for the 91. I'm training again with John, the 91 season. And I think I had another injury, and then, I ended up just kind of moving on and going with Joe Dulles in Santa Monica. But
Mm-hmm.
coming out of that sickness, um, I mean, it was just I was in a fog for a year. Like it was just like you said, this cloud just over me. I just was not the same, man. I was depressed and just weak mentally, and I was like just feeling down. I didn't see my way out. But what got me through it again, it was my coaching and my teammates, my family. Like I said, I had to go move back in with my grandparents. I mean, it was just I needed to basically go back to the source to get the strength to come out of it, and then I was able to, rise from it like a phoenix.
So
And
so so to go to the trials in '92, make the team,
oh man, that was a
and
whole.
we got the young gun Q Watts out there doing his thing.
Oh, it
Uh,
was.
your old middle school alumni. Y'all went out there back in the day. Whether you missed each other or not, but you were on the same campus. To go through that journey and to become the silver medalist in Barcelona in the 400 meters when so many people that think, probably even yourself, you were trying to figure out if you ever going to make it to the trials in '92. Now you're in the finals, winning the silver medal. How'd that feel for yourself personally after your
So
journey?
felt more rewarding than the original because, like I said, it just I didn't think I was going to be. I mean, it's a lot to be, kind of an athlete in an individual sport in itself, the physical and the mental, and then to try to elevate yourself, become one of the best at it, and the Olympian. I mean, it was a journey, right? And so to then be able to make that and back up. Remember, the Olympic trials in '92 had its own set of other.
Yo, the whole Butch Reynolds IAAF shit. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we ain't even talked about that. I was actually
That
um
was to make
I'm
it to
gonna
it.
I'm gonna reach out to Butch. But yeah, I can imagine, man.
That was just the whole kind of a Hollywood drama in
I
itself.
was it's funny, I recently saw Butch's documentary. Uh
Mhm. And
and it went through that whole interviews by you and from the documentarian and took the sound bites from everybody and the news sources and this and that. It was crazy, man. Any case, so you go through the trials in New Orleans, go through, you're running through this probably summertime meets in Europe. We go to Barcelona, you get that silver,
Mhm.
you come back, get another gold medal on the relay.
Which is another story in itself because the year before the Brits, I wasn't on that relay.
Oh, I forgot. Oh,
Americans
that was the Tokyo relay with Akabusi kicked ass.
a redemption thing for me. I was because I wasn't there in the previous year, and the Brits, it was they beat the Americans and they
Yeah,
talked some.
yeah. It's funny. I was talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody about the
Yeah,
world championships in Tokyo, and I was talking shit. I was like, that shit would never happen if Bossman was out there.
joke with Derek Redmond about he was on that relay and Roger, but they Akabusi, he anchor leg ran down Pettigrew and
Hey man, Akabusi no joke, man. That's. I've been trying to. I got to reach out to him as well, to Chris. Uh,
you
but this
so
is
anyway,
just
oh,
yo. So okay. So after when did you quote unquote retire from track and field? If you ever, if you know,
what ended my running career was an earthquake.
you talking '94 then, right?
Yeah,
All
so
right.
still in my prime, right? So at 4 in the morning in 1994 in January, I'm living in the valley in Calabasas. The
I'm
house
there
started
with you. I'm out there too.
up in the valley, yeah, and
Yeah, that is wow.
house started shaking. Man, I woke up suddenly and I got up, did what you're not supposed to do during an earthquake, tried to run out the house. I slipped, fell on my tailbone, collapsed my disc L5S1, and two
Were you?
surgeries. Had
Damn.
now, but it was from that fall. one slip and fall, and that ended my running career. Because
Did
you know
you
now,
did you know you know what happened to Quincy in the world's in Stuttgart, right? He did this. He fell in the shower.
I never heard about that. Yeah, and back.
Oh man, I just interviewed Q. It's posted on my YouTube. He talked about that shit, man. He had a fucked up world championship that year, man. He fell on his back, was paralyzed for like maybe a minute and a half, just laid out. He was in the shower. Uh,
Yeah,
then the shoe exploded.
that part.
And like you telling me you running through the house. I remember that night, dude. I remember that night. My front door just bust open. I
Mm-hmm.
never see the door just bust open like this to the street. And it was dead bolted. At the split level, you got to take one out, open one separately. But when the earthquake, the door jamb twisted and did a tilt, and the door just pushed open. I ran downstairs during the quake. Any case, it was late. I mean, it was early. But yeah, that was wild, man. That was wild. I remember that. And you had the surgery.
Two of them. So I got screws in my back, but after you start messing with your back, it's just yeah. So yeah, that was
Okay,
it.
so I get okay. So when all right, so now I'm gonna do a little segue in.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't had the illness. You didn't been to all these specialists between
Mm-hmm.
uh the diagnosis was wrong with you prior to 92. Earthquake in 94, this ruptured replacement of metal parts in your body or into your body. So now you work for a McNeil company still, correct?
So I work for a device company called
A,
Stryker.
a device company, Stryker. Would you would you say your familiarity being in the hospital and dealing with the surgeries kind of familiarized you familiarized you to the profession in which you are currently in?
Oh,
Could you
absolutely.
could you say that, or maybe you even mention that to some of your peers in your industry?
Yeah, yeah. Now, what question do I talk about what happened to me or
Or do
oh
you,
they,
in any opportunity if you may have a conversation with your, and I'm not just saying like speaking to, I'm talking if you place in a setting of people, four or five
Mhm.
hundred people, and you're having a discussion talking about, if you're giving a speech or something, talking about your Olympic accolades and your connection say for instance, if you did something at your job,
Mhm.
because if I were striker, I would have you all over the country talking about just that.
No, so yeah, I mean I talk about it, whenever if it comes up, depending
uh
on the forum or the audience, what have you. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You're so
Absolutely.
damn modest, bro. Fuck that boss man. I'm drinking this. Yeah, he like I want some. I want the boss man that I went to UCLA with. I want
Gotta
the.
know things, you
I
know.
guess after a couple kids and
Yeah,
paying
yeah.
for college and all that shit,
Like, man, just
he don't exist.
yeah, yeah, life is, always special.
Okay, check it out, boss man. How'd you end up with that nickname, man?
Oh, do you really want to know?
I really want to know.
I don't know if I can say it. Well, before it was Boss Man, it used to be Crime Boss, and then now I think D Knight just Boss Man. But no, just things
Who
happen.
gave it to you?
I think D Knight gave me the name Crime Boss and then Boss Man, and then now it just stuck. Everybody just it stuck. Everybody just yeah, but it came from somewhere.
Yeah, I need to narrow that down because I was obvious around when that happened, but I
Oh,
can't even in my mind. I
going
can't narrow
on,
it down. The guy, but I'm
going
sure
on
someone.
that
I'm sure
time.
I could talk with Tony Miller may know or D
There,
Night.
oh,
D.
D Knight knows why that name is there. He knows.
It
You can
was D
ask.
Night, huh?
He knows why. Yeah, he knows the source.
I think I know what it was. I think it stemmed from you was doing the airplane game. You was confiscating everybody. You was confiscating everybody money, man, in the airplane game, homeboy.
Oh, that said ain't so. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. You walk around with people money wrapped up in a rubber band in the dorms. Are you laughing? Why you laughing? In the dorms.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Good old,
You definitely crime bossing back in the day.
good old days. Good old days.
When you I got a question for you, boss man. And I must admit, when I was at UCLA, I got caught up in all the frat shit. Me and D Knight got caught up in the frat shit. A lot of us got caught up in the frat shit. You never got caught up in the frat shit. I
Coach
guess
wouldn't
because
let
you already knew everybody in the frat.
everybody. I think had I pledged, it would definitely have been alpha. But John, our coach, he just did not. I don't. He didn't know you and D Knight were pledging, right? It was y'all.
Nah, he ain't know. You know, we had to go underground. We had to go. We had to take that deep underground with the alpha shit.
Want to get
We
hurt.
went. We went. They went under with us. Yeah, and I had wanted to pledge alpha for a minute. So I was gonna be. You know, the crazy part about me pledging alpha. I remember when I had the opportunity. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me. We're at a track meet. And we're at a track meet. This was in '86. You were still in high school. This was fall. No, no. Let me go back. It wasn't fall '86. This was '87. Spring
Mm.
'87. It was before spring '87. 'Cause it was the line that had we were at a track meet in Arizona. I remember sitting on the back of the plane with Mike Powell. There was a line that was about to go on with Tim Reed, Mel, and Mike Farr. Uh, who else is on that line? A few other brothers. I think Reggie Love. No, Reggie Love was on the Reggie was on the Sawin line. I'm sorry. Any case, I remember being on the back of the plane, flying back to L.A. from Phoenix, and Mike was saying, they putting the line on tonight, and you know you got selected to be on the line to be inducted. I was like, and he said, this was around late '86. He said, you just starting to really get down, do your thing and track, and I'm not sure the brother's gonna have any, any sort of leniency on you, and I don't think it'd be a good idea for you to pledge, kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? As soon as the plane landed back to LA, I told myself I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna go on this next line that they're gonna have at Alpha. So I postponed that shit and went on and had a great track and field season. Um, and and then eventually I pledged. Eventually I just pledged in spring of '87, the following line. So then the night pledge. But like I said, it didn't mean nothing. It didn't mean nothing. Well, like I said, you hung out with everybody any damn way, so it didn't make nothing out of nothing. When in the medical device industry, because you're not only in that industry, you as well, I would like to say in the lifestyle industry. For a number of years you've been, put it this way, you look like you're more fit
Fitter now. Well,
now as a young man who's 50, at least 56 years old, maybe 56, maybe at least 50 years old. Sorry about that. You're more fit now uh, than I've ever seen you, you know, and l- having a lifestyle because being as fit as you are is definitely a lifestyle change, and it's a lifestyle to get up and have this sort of continuity and tenacity to get up every morning, even within the course of the week, continuously to exercise and eat consistently, get your rest, and all that good stuff. And I'm personally, it may not seem like it as I sit here and sip on this gin. However, uh, I think it's pretty important to me to have this conversation with you because I totally agree with what you're doing, and I'm glad that I got my oomph ball. It's going to be a part of my workout regimen. And this is something that you've been involved in for a long time, correct?
yeah, just whole health and well, I mean, obviously life, but health and wellness, physically, I just think consistency is important. You got to have balance, right? Because we all have, stressful lives, and I do it from my work side, but the other side of it, I got to have an outlet, right? And then just
Mm.
wellness starts with physical as well. I mean, it's just all part of that
How
balance.
often do you work in a week?
Work out,
Workout,
uh,
yeah, excuse me. How often do you work out a week?
something every day. If I'm not traveling, I am. doing something every day, just being active. Because again, it's just part of
Do
my
you is it when you say something every day, is it a certain amount of time you give? Like you say, okay, I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, or you do some periodically during the whole course of the day, maybe 15 minutes here, going about a quarter of your day,
yeah.
15 minutes later, or do you just find a time of the day to put it in?
I do find the time of the day, but just over general, I am very active. So, while I do have this set, regimen, okay, I'm working out this certain time, this, hour and a half a day, doing whatever,
Hmm.
cardio, body core, what have you. But just my whole approach to my day is just kind of being active and right. So I might be doing, I might end up going hiking with someone else, or I might be working with some kids and demonstrating some exercise, so just my whole approach to my day and my life is about health and wellness, right? So I'm just active in general.
Hmm.
And I set times that I work out, obviously, but I might be doing something with a group of folks just that's active and physical because I'm just
I mean, like I
always
said, so. Okay, say for instance, how many hours do you do striker? Then how many hours or in the course of a week? Is it 40 hours with striker, and then whatever other time is with your with being active with everybody else?
just kind of I mean, it's a daily thing. I mean, that's kind of my day to day, and I'm, at least during the week, I'm always sort of involved with that in meetings and virtual calls and what have you, and emails.
Got
But
you. Okay, for sure.
all just kind of that's a constant. Just as my health and wellness is being physical is just a constant. So I just find a way to kind of move throughout my day and my week
Hmm.
where I'm
So basically, you're really telling me it's all about time management as well.
huge. Yeah, you got to make the time for it, right?
You
Because
got
if
to
I
make it. It's all about making the time, right?
because you're gonna miss some days, but because I'm always of the mindset that when I can do it, I'm going to do it, right?
And it's so funny because I remember when you first started developing with the oomph ball, that was one of the things that you prioritized was the simple fact that you want to be able to have 10, 15 minutes and have something that's heavy enough, that's malleable enough that you can do some
I'm
basic
at.
moves physically that are going to pay out for you later on down the road. And as simple as that premise is, it's the truth. Even if you commit yourself to just that, you'll definitely have the improvements.
Like that's anything, not just physical. You give it a little push, that's the momentum, and
Exactly, exactly. It's kind of like telling the tape of other things that you involve yourself in. I was I recently ran into Jerome Davis, you know,
oh,
and Jerome is a sports agent. He does a lot of some young men in football and other sports as well, right? He was in Tokyo, matter of fact, and I remember Jerome was just a beast at USC in that 400 meters, right? And one of the questions I was like, man, can you imagine never losing a national championship title in college as a 400-meter runner? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, so that's like saying being a freshman and winning the gold medal and beating the world record holder doing it. So you have these certain individuals who have these stories, yours, Jerome. I was talking with Quincy. Same question with Quincy. Quincy had was a sprinter, running the one and the two at SC, stayed hurt, right? And then stepped up to the quarter mile and ended up becoming an Olympic medalist, right? Olympic record holder at one point in time. And and I was saying to him, I said, when I was talking with Q, I said, yo, how did it feel to be he was like you, two-time state champion as an underclassman, right? As a sprinter. California state champion as a sprinter, gets recruited to the college of I think Q did Q say he wanted to go to UCLA? I think he may have wanted to go to UCLA, he ended up at SC, right? Uh fairly being hurt and injured at SC earlier when he got there, and then having to figure that out mentally. And then, like I said, that question that I asked you, what was it that formidably that got you through those tough times? Were you? I mean, because these are the questions that I would say normal people like to know about. And it's kind of normal for us because it's our world and we have to deal with it. Uh, but a lot of times we don't ever take in consideration explaining what it took for us to get through those times. Because for other folks to understand it, because they realize how incredible it is for us to do the feats in which we do or have done.
You just have to connect the dots, man. I mean, it's like you just never really know. I mean, you think about that game where you're connecting these dots and you're creating some sort of a constellation. Is that if you connect the right dots, then that's your story, right? A lot of times you get distracted and get with the wrong people and the crowds.
Well,
It's just
but that happens to us all, right? Exactly. Because can you imagine?
it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. It's
Are
tough.
you involved in anything for LA 28?
Not formally, but I am doing a lot of those side things. I think as we get closer, I probably will be.
Have they reached out to you? Because like Janet Evans kind of say, "Yo, what's up, Steve? What you up to?"
Oh, Janet, she's still involved. No,
And the only reason why I'm saying that to you because I ain't got reached out to.
it's funny though, but they have people in different,
I mean, if you, it's like I said, as you get closer and closer to games, they try to narrow down what they need. But like you said, they're collectively trying to collect folks to be a part of the LA 28. My thing is always, where do you get in? How do you get in, and how do you fit in that it makes sense to your brand? You know what I'm saying? Because the Olympic brand is like, I walk around with it, sport it. It's going to be supported, but how do you stand out outside of everybody else that's already in the Olympic box?
I mean, I do a lot of things even outside of them that's still kind of working, parallel to the LA 24.
Yeah. Hmm.
Organization would reach out to me to do certain things for like the city where I live. I'm doing videos to try to promote the city to bring folks from around the world to come.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. Because once folks get to Cali, they're gonna be all over the place. They're gonna be all
Correct.
over Southern California, by the
Or
beach,
directly.
valley, all over the city.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing my Watts campaign. I was thinking about that the other day, um, and literally going, okay, how can LA 28 would be a good way for LA or not LA 28 because I can't sit back and expect them to do anything and promote it. It has to be something I personally feel embodied to do. So I'm like, shit, if I'm in Switzerland, what do I do? What sort of merchandising, or not even necessarily merchandising, but what sort of branding do I do to connect
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Paris to LA or Kevin to being in Switzerland to LA, IOC being in Switzerland to LA, that whole, because that's going to be the constant dialogue back and forth anyway.
True.
You
Yeah. Yeah. True. 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 You create your own thing. I mean, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
How do you
Hmm.
feel about the future of Santa Monica Track Club? Is there a future?
It doesn't need to be. I think, Santa Monica Track Club was, significant during a certain time in our sport.
Uh-huh.
Maybe and a lot came out of that, and that was fine. That's in the history books. You can go and look up and see what we did. All the members, just that success, and now there's a new era. I don't
Well,
think
what
that
is it? What is it? Is there a new era? I'm not. I
it
would
is
like
with
to
all
see. I would like to see it. I would like to see it
you know.
materialize a bit more.
It's a lot going on. When I think about these different leagues that they're trying to start.
Exactly. That's a good segue because recently, of course, you're talking the formation of leagues, the future of leagues. It'd be interesting to see how a club with the title of SMTC, how do they put themselves in that same conversation? How do they integrate it?
Again, I don't
You
think
know, and I would say it will be done because it's a great opportunity to for something like that to happen. And if they're saying that's what they're going to do and they're going to promote it,
Mhm.
then I think it'll be a good thing to have eyes on a club on the SMTC brand.
Yeah, it's definitely a brand. It's definitely
It's a brand that hasn't even been it's never been exploited. I mean, that's a shame. That first, to be honest with you, that's the shame of it because it's the beauty of a brand of the beauty of any brand is the stories in which it tells. Now, I personally know the different stories that come out of that brand. So if
Mhm.
that's not what's being expressed, especially that part of that, because that part of the brand is so significant to our dreams as athletes.
Mhm. Mhm.
As much as we hold on to those dreams and no, those goals in which we've had set for ourselves and those dreams in which we may have accomplished within, like you said, it was in that time and in that period. So even if I think story wise, that has to be discussed. It has to be on somebody's tongue when they discuss and talk about it. I mean, shit. I'm sitting here with a
That's Shaggy.
my Shaggy, right? My
Ah,
Shaggy figure.
that's funny. Okay.
Oh man, come on, I'm a big ass kid.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm a big kid, you know that. I got the
Yeah.
Shaggy. If you and you know, okay, you can't have Shaggy without Scooby. You know that.
Scooby or Scooby, man. Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. I got the Oof Ball and Scooby.
I got a collection, huh? That's funny.
Man, I got I got Scooby.
I
I
like it.
got Scooby Doo.
I like it.
I
That's
got
funny.
Scooby and Shaggy. You know that. Scooby Dooby Doo. I got Tame. Last time I was in London, I saw these at an antique store. I said I gotta have them, and of course, I got them. Ain't that right, Scooby Doo? Scooby Dooby. Anyway, you got me tripping. Cut that shit out. Folks don't think I'm drunk. I ain't drunk. But yeah, boss man. So I think with our backgrounds, you know, the city, you know, LA coming up, I think it, you know, Lord bless, like my mom always say, we still around. There's be a great opportunity for us to, like you said, the things in which you may have in our mind to move forward and do, a great opportunity to push forward and do those things, you know, and support those particular causes. There's gonna be a lot of shit going on in the city. I know your wife is probably,
Right.
you know, in the industry that she's integrated in. I know
Yeah,
she's like she probably all over the place, just trying to look at, you know, figuring out, okay, this is going to be happening, this is going to be happening.
yeah, yeah.
How does it all fall into this in this entertainment industry, which is the backbone of what people are, you know, people earn how people earn a living on the West Coast or even just around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I didn't even know. Check it out, yo. Look at this, dude. I didn't even realize this. I've been having this for a while. Look at this. Look at Scooby's eyes, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
Dude, the eyes come out. Look, watch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Look at in the tongue. Oh. I just noticed that. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
boss man. So the lifestyle piece is what really I
Mm-hmm.
really love that you've been involved in for such a long time. Uh, I think it's important, and I think personally, I'm really going to jump in on that uh, between now
Yeah,
and 2026. What do you think about Fred Curley and the enhanced games and and that whole situation?
man. Uh, this is just man, I don't know if I have a
No, you say what you got to say because I'm gonna say what the hell I got to say about the whole situation.
oh, I
I
know.
mean, because I'm gonna look at it from a few different perspectives. If you look at what see, now you got me telling me I didn't ask myself that. I asked you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no, interesting. It's all it's you know, athletes want to find a way to get paid. This will be a spectacle, right? But people love spectacles, right? This is going to be very interesting. They will have viewers, and maybe to bring attention to other, to other things, right? So I'm not necessarily against it, right? I don't know how I feel about it at the moment. I mean, but it's just,
I mean, we get because you know the reason why you well,
yeah,
I just
no,
I understand we juggle with our
I get it,
we get
but
yeah we get it definitely and you have and you really have to get it because I had this thought came across my head the other day having this thought about the enhanced games. And I've listened to some of the things in which Fred had mentioned in the press about uh supporting his livelihood, his family. You know, he got health insurance, this, that, and the other. And Dylan, being as a track and field runner, you're always under this cloud, or
yeah,
under the federations and the trickle down theory, how shit never really trickles down when you start talking about the bread. And I was just thinking, basically, he basically said he just wants to secure the future for himself and his family financially, which in any case, that's the reason why people do shit, right? And then you go and you look at the perspective of the athletes. So why do so many athletes get caught? Why do so many Kenyan athletes get caught taking EPO and how you can get EPO in that area of Kenya where you have all these runners, right? How's that so readily available? Um, you have athletes who back in the day, women athletes who were given these drug regimens that affected their bodies years later, or even during their competition days, as well as years later, where it caused them all this harm, all in the guise of for the country. We're doing this for homeland, fatherland, blah 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 blah, and they were the guinea pigs of that shit, right? And so you can speculate and talk about them 30, 40 years later, but that was the sign of the times in which they're in. uh, and our same views on ethics and sports were the same as well then, but then you have these things just falling in the cracks or going on and happening. Look, folks look the other way. So now, instead of it being looked the other way and scrutinized to a point where you have to say, okay, how is this individual, these individuals, and it's definitely a spectacle event. But the question is always, how do you how do you look at it and move forward with it? Because I would hope that it won't be something that it becomes a sidelined event like the circus. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You
Well, I
know,
mean,
I
yeah,
don't know what's going on now with this phone. My wife tried to call me, messed up the call. Any case, uh,
they exploited those athletes, and
um, I mean, and I don't think. Hopefully, it won't be a situation where they think they're gonna have an enhanced game league. Some shit like that. But I do understand. I do understand the science side of it, or how they're looking at it from the science side, because now you got everything is above board instead of all this Frankenstein shit and all the scandalous shit that you get coaches and athletes caught up in, as we've seen up until now, right? Everybody's been scrutinizing the sport on drugs and this, that, and drug testing, and you have these, Matt Frankenstein ass coaches going and they going to the edge. Salazar went to the edge. He stayed in the gray area when he was doing what he was in his situation that he was dealing with his athletes and the fallout or whatever, if you want to call it that, the whole Balco situation, all that bullshit. You know, uh, when it comes to really the integrity of the sport, if you grew up in a situation where you have integrity of sport, I can say like I grew up in the era. Well, I grew up in an era that I personally feel personally in my circle, there was integrity in sport. Or I mean, just personally, I just wouldn't do certain shit.
mhm.
I wouldn't built that way. To cheat, like that. Because I've always wanted to know what can I do. I've always been taught as a kid, you can't
But
do this, you can't do that. You okay? Let me just show you. Let me just see what I can do. And then if you
well,
do it,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. The integrity. So these athletes, fully aware.
They there to get they there to get some bread, man. They there to be spectacles to try to break existing records that are on the books just to see, and they're gonna record it, and they're gonna make a big ass. It's Vegas, man. It's
Yeah,
total spectacle. It's
yeah.
total Cirque du Soleil, man.
And I'm
But it's crazy.
curious to see. I mean, obviously, these athletes, not just any athlete is going to, even if whatever the enhancement is, they got to be not just some guy off the street. Oh, I'm gonna get enhanced.
Exactly, exactly. But Bossman, think about all the athletes all the world class or wannabe world class athletes who took steroids and failed at that shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah,
literally. I mean, not that they got caught, but
yeah.
took the shit and didn't do shit with it.
Yeah. I think
Now,
people are curious.
talk about, but then again, it goes back. You still got to have the discipline of an athlete to want to go out there and train and put in the work. You can do whatever the fuck I guess you can with performance enhancing PEDs, but you still got to go out there and work hard, man. You got to do the work.
Yeah.
And see, now that's the question that people ain't really, the critics haven't really, I haven't seen the critics address. It ain't like he out there just taking a bunch of PEDs and he gonna go out there and try to run. This is Fred I'm talking about, and gonna try to run 942. He got to be in motherfucking 942 shape, which
Show up.
which we ain't never seen anybody in 942 shape. And we know what 950 what's the record 958.
Hey man, if you put enough springy actions in the damn shoes, they'll run fast.
Yo, now see, now that's a whole nother question. See, we didn't. And see
I feel,
now.
I feel like they're
Now
enhancing now.
listen, now listen. Now you didn't. I think you just cracked the motherfucking code of all this. At the end of the
Like,
day, you just cracked the code. Now, with the
it's
springy tracks and the carbon fiber shoes and the lightweight shoes, da 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 da, and you tweak it with some gray area PEDs that's on the
interesting.
verge of probably be TUEs. You
What's the
just
difference?
might have a motherfucking 942.
They're already enhancing with the equipment. What
You
else? Yeah.
just might you just might have a 942. So the question is, if that I mean, see, I understand why why World Athletics and WADA could be concerned because it's some Frankenstein shit. It's like when people be tweaking when folks tweak drugs. You take a molecule out of this and add a molecule out of that, change this whole sequence, but you still have the properties. Yeah, it gets to be that Frankenstein shit, and I don't think sports is ready for the Frankenstein shit.
Mm, mm.
And like I said, that's in the lab, mixing and dixing. I ain't saying shit about you conceptually do conception. You born a certain way. I ain't got nothing saying about that. I'm talking about the Frankenstein shit. With the tubes and the beakers and the catheters and the syringes and the tablets and yeah, boss man. What up, Shaggy? Off the computer, man. I think my dinner's ready downstairs. I think that's what my wife called. Yeah,
Man.
but I'm gonna let you go, boss man. But
All right,
I want to continue this call, this
bro.
conversation, because I got to come back because there's some things I got some stuff I want to you got to share with me.
Okay. All
All
right.
right, but the lifestyle piece that you're talking about is so important at this day and age, especially folks our age. Going up into them 60s, and I think now it's a great time and platform for us to have these conversations back and forth, uh, and then discuss workouts and training and possibly going to other places. Because I know you do the thing in Santa Lucia. You still are involved in that, correct?
Yeah, yeah, that timing permits. I do travel and put little clinics on around. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get with you on that, man. I wanna do the Oomph Ball Clinic with you one day. I get you involved in some shit that I'm doing on this side of the world, man. Call you up, bring you in.
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely,
I'm dead ass. All
absolutely.
right, so I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna edit this because I know it's super long,
All right, yeah, it's okay.
and I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna give you a copy of it. You can do whatever you want with it. We're gonna do something with it.
Send that my way. Yeah,
All right, my brother. Oh yeah, no doubt. I love you, man.
love you, bro. All right, man. Stay
Take
up.
care.
Peace. Bye. Bye.